Hey, I wanted to talk with you today about something that I don't think moms hear a lot. If you're watching this, you're probably trying to do all the things. There's a good chance you're exhausted from parenting and errands, appointments, maybe even, caring for aging parents, but still somehow feeling like you're falling short, like it's not enough. You could be doing more or showing up better. And maybe you've even tried to Google your way out of it, right? Some better time management tips, or, what's the best calendar or planner system to have, or maybe even, downloaded some kind of meditation app that you've never used again. But here's something that I really wish that moms knew, that I could share with as many moms as possible. And that if you're feeling burned out, it is not your fault. It is not because you aren't organized enough or disciplined enough or smart enough or resilient enough. It's not you. It's burnout and feeling overwhelmed and struggling is not a personal failing. It's a cultural crisis. And there's a lot of what feels like cultural crisis going on in our world right now. So I want to talk about what that actually means and how reframing this idea that it's not you, that it's this cultural, thing that is put on us can really change everything. When I first became a mom, I believed that if I just tried hard enough, if I read the books, if I watched the videos, did all the things, that I could figure it out. I could be calm and emotionally available. I could be, good at my job and was able to, help my clients and meet all those productivity standards. I was going to be the friend that texted back and planned the dates so that we, months didn't go by. I also, wanted to be the best partner who was able to manage her stress and not bring it into the relationship or just sit there kind of in silence every evening. And when I couldn't do all of those things, and found myself kind of being snappy and overwhelmed, when I couldn't do all of them, I felt like there was something wrong with me. Like I had some kind of like fatal flaw, that it was me. But what I realized, as a therapist and a coach for moms, and as a mom myself, is that so many of us are trying to function within these systems that are fundamentally unsustainable. The expectations are unrealistic. We live in a world that romanticizes busyness and over-functioning and praises and rewards self-sacrifice and tells moms that they should be able to raise children like they don't have a job or that they don't have any other demands on their time, but then work at this job like they don't have any kids and they don't have any family to also, spend time and energy with. It's a setup. Like, it's just a trap. It's bullshit. And we internalize the failure to not meet these unrealistic expectations as our own, that it's us, but it's not. Burnout is a state of emotional, mental, and physical exhaustion. It's caused by prolonged stress and chronic overwhelm that is often made worse by these systems that demand constant output, but with very little support or consistent, clear instructions on how to even do it. And it shows up in ways, this burnout shows up in ways that are really personal and just feed into that loop of there's something wrong with me. We snap at our kids over something small. You sit down to look at your inbox and you're just paralyzed, don't know how to get started with a project. Maybe you're crying in the car or the shower because it just finally hits you and that's your only time alone. You feel guilty for resting, like you have to earn it. But here's the thing. Burnout is a signal, not a weakness. It's a, 5-alarm fire that your body, Your brain is sending to you, hey, something's got to give. It's your, nervous system telling you this isn't sustainable. You're doing too much with too little support. And you're never meant to carry this alone. So when we shift the narrative from what's wrong with me to what happened to me, what has been my programming, what has shaped me, what systems am I operating in, we can begin to see burnout not as a flaw, but as data. And that data is knowledge. And that knowledge is the power to change and find balance. So we're going to zoom out this for a second here. We live in a culture, like I said, that rewards productivity over rest, that labels moms who ask for help as lazy or it's a weakness, It glorifies that super mom and then gaslights the rest of us who struggle. And it really gives lip service to self-care, but it doesn't give the structural support for it. Like, oh, go get a massage. Yeah, but when am I supposed to have the time to do that? Who's going to watch my kids? So now I have the cost of a massage on top of the cost of a babysitter. What if the babysitter flakes? Yeah. So many of us who are also raised in families where emotions weren't talked about, where perfectionism was the standard, you just function and perform up here or else. In my house growing up, it was you just got straight A's. Didn't matter if you struggled with math or didn't like a subject, that was the expectation. And there was no reward for it, but there was definitely a punishment for not getting A's. And so we also, I think, could be raised in houses where like that love and acceptance might have felt conditional on that performance, like the straight A's, or your appearance or politeness. Are you a good girl? Are you well behaved? So then, fast forward, we enter into adulthood, especially motherhood, where we're already primed to overfunction, to prove ourselves, to people please, keeping everyone happy, and to do it all perfectly with a smile on our face. The result, we end up pouring from an empty cup, and then we blame ourselves when we hit a wall and feel burned out. But the truth is, if the system is broken, which it is, no amount of perfection will fix that. You're burning yourself out to keep everything afloat. It doesn't make you strong. It means you've been taught that drowning is quietly noble. That to struggle and push yourself and do all these things and be strong is a good thing. So what do we do instead? We start by reframing that burnout is not a personal shortcoming, but it's a perfectly human response. It's your body's natural reaction to all these unrealistic expectations. It's our response to an inhumane setup. You're not broken. You're not failing. You're responding appropriately to an overwhelming, unsupported, expectation-laden environment. Here's what happens when we make that mindset shift. You stop personalizing the shame. It's not that you can't handle your life. It's that your life hasn't been designed to be livable. It's not realistic. Another change is you also begin to get curious, not critical. And this is what I did in my burnout to balance journey. Instead of asking, what's wrong with me? Why can't I keep up? What's the matter? I started to kind of ask myself, like, what is the expectation here? What am I expecting myself to do? And is it even possible? Is it even what I want? And that's the next thing. You start redefining success. It's not going to be checking off all those boxes: achievement, appearance, performance, keeping up with the Joneses, everybody else's highlight reel. It's going to be about protecting your time, your money, and your energy, showing up as a whole human, and modeling real emotional health for your kids. You're also going to give yourself permission to rest. It's not a reward, it's a requirement. It's part of that balance. So this is why in my coaching program, Burnout to Balance, we spend time unlearning. The whole first module of the program is unlearning those deeply ingrained beliefs that are, bombarding us every day. Because no system, planner, or checklist will work if your mindset is still rooted in hustle, shame, and perfectionism. You don't have to burn everything down to make change, but you do have to stop trying to outrun burnout with all these productivity tasks or a massage or these self-care things. We're going to start small. So say no to one thing this week. Let the laundry pile up and go outside instead. Choose connection over perfection. You don't have to plan the perfect outing with your kids. Connect with them in that car ride on the way home, or at bedtime right before they go to sleep, or in the morning when you're eating breakfast. Track what drains you and what fills you up. Make one tiny little adjustment accordingly. The change does not have to be drastic or dramatic to be meaningful or to move that needle toward balance. Every small act of rebellion against burnout culture is an act of healing. You can smash the patriarchy in these little steps. You were never meant to do this alone. You don't have to earn rest. You don't have to be everything to everyone. If you're burned out, please know it's not because you're weak. It's because you're strong, and you've been strong for too long without the support you deserve. There's a different way, and I'd love to help you. If this resonated with you at all, check out the Burnout to Balance program. Follow me on Instagram. Explore some of my other resources. You deserve the tools, the support, and a community that reminds you you're not alone.